Hey folks, Jackdaw here. Keep your tinfoil hats firmly on as we're diving into an intricate theory board exploring Dragon Age Dreadwolf's potential main villains. In our plunge into this tinfoil rabbit hole, we're going to dissect clues from teasers, concept art and trailers dating back to 2020, unravelling evil gods who now have Thedas in their sights for their own nefarious reign. This theory all the more backed up thanks to the DADAY 2023 teaser. You see, contrary to popular belief and Bioware's marketing material, Solas isn't the ultimate threat of Dragon Age Dreadwolf, setting the stage for a very much unexpected twist in the game's narrative. Put me in high knee socks and call me Corypheus, we're going to jump straight into this, analysing the next major threat of Thedas. So starting with a bit more of an explanation on Solas' role in DAD, while he looms large as a narrative threat in Dreadwolf, especially after the events of Inquisition's Trespasser DLC, with Solas' intention to destroy the Veil, thus freeing the Elven gods and restoring the magic-dependent empire of his people, Dragon Age is iconically known for its villainous surprises and midway point story twists. The moral ambiguity surrounding Solas, coupled with the Inquisitor's pivotal choice to either redeem or want to thwart Solas, adds a myriad of complexity to Solas and his potential fate in DAD. Despite his unquestionably bad aims to wreak havoc on Thedas for all the non-elves by any means necessary, the Veil as we know currently remains intact, and the Inquisitor still seeks reclamation, thinking they have a chance to still change his mind or completely thwart him altogether, which then leaves ample room for attempts at redemption or intervention in Dreadwolf. While I fully expect to chase after Fen'Harel the Dreadwolf for an opening portion of the game, Dragon Age thrives on its unexpected twists. With that, I propose that two other formidable villains will emerge, challenging our new hero and potentially even Solas himself. Who are these villains, you ask? Well, probably not, because you've already seen the title of this video, so you can already expect who I'm going to be talking about. So let's start from the top and unravel each layer of this tinfoil shaped onion of a mystery. Our initial hint at impending chaos featuring new villains starts with the Dragon Age Day 2022 cinematic, narrated by Varric. This in-game cutscene reveals Solas with the red lyrium idol as a ritual blade in hand against the Veil, with the world literally teetering on a knife's edge as specified in Dreadwolf's Steam description. Whether this scene is introduced early on or later in the game, regardless of its context, it foreshadows Solas utilizing the red lyrium idol ritual blade to shatter the Veil in some regard. This revelation confirms that, to some extent, the Veil's destruction is inevitable in DAD, restoring fabrics of the Elven Empire and granting Solas access to deal with the Evanurus. While Solas has plans to defeat the Evanurus as the first of his kind do not die so easily, a surprising twist unfolds in the Dragon Age Game Awards 2020 trailer. You see, at least two elven gods seem ready to escape Solas' grasp following the supposed, quote, destruction of the Veil. So in the Game Awards 2020 trailer, distinct visuals revealed two mysterious figures, later unveiled in a fresco painted by Solas. This finished artwork provides crucial insights into Solas' post-Veil destruction plan, depicting the Dreadwolf emerging from the Black City, which is infused with red lyrium. Breaking this fresco down, these two figures closely resemble specific Eluvians and elven statues that were featured in the elven library known as the Via de Fara, literally confirming their identity as elven gods. Notably, the exact same imagery appears in the Dragon Age Day 2022 key cinematic, the specific point where Varric explicitly discusses Solas banishing the elven gods in the past. This added direct connection emphasizes that the displayed iconography represents each member of the Elven pantheon, concretely showcasing that these figures are indeed Elven gods. Now the fresco equally suggests that these gods might elude Solas, possibly fleeing from the Fade, as the Dreadwolf is still observed within the Black City, which is situated in the Fade, with the two figures outside of it. With the impending destruction of the Veil, there's a a potential scenario where these gods may have found their way to Thedas, setting the stage for the emergence of these ancient malevolent forces. Connected to the Fresco revelation of these figures as elven gods, we have an early concept art that unveiled an evil god, resembling one of the key Fresco figures depicted. The portrayal of this elven god explicitly states evil gods have Thedas in their sights and only heroes can stop them. The shadow of the past stirs, and new heroes must rise to stop them. This unequivocally confirms the resurgence of malevolent gods from the past with the explicit intention of reclaiming Thedas, serving as a pivotal indicator of Dreadwolf's central narrative and strongly suggesting that Solas is not the sole antagonist of the game. But wait, we've got even more to fully wrap our heads around these evil gods. Adding to the intrigue is the recent voiceover from the Dragon Age Day 2023 locations teaser, featuring a character with very much antagonistic intentions. Their distinct male voice, not matching Gareth David Lloyd's euphonous portrayal of Solas, boldly asserts,
"All the world will soon share the peace and comfort of my reign."
Now, I've seen a few theories online that perhaps this is the Dreadwolf speaking with a different voice, and I can kind of get behind that, but that to me just seems a little bit unlikely because I feel like GDL would voice Solas even as the Dreadwolf. Therefore, I think this suggests a new arrival of a malevolent god dominating Thedas, an ambition that also starkly contrasts with Solas' desire to restore the time of the elves. While Solas' actions are absolutely corrupt and bad, his overall goal is of liberation, of fixing the mistake that he once caused, of a man who has woken up and seen his people even worse off. And so his intention is a good one. This evil figure who wants to control the realm, sharing their peace and reign, not good intentions in my opinion, definitely antagonistic. So our deductions so far lead us to anticipate that Solas is going to use the red lyrium idol with its ritual blade to destroy the veil in an unknowing capacity. As the Dreadwolf enters the Black City for whatever reason, maybe the elven gods were originally locked away there, hence why he's going there to end their lives once and for all, but then somehow in the process, two elven gods, maybe more, all we know currently is that two seemingly escape based on the Fresco. They somehow are freed, aligning with the description of evil gods from the past now having Thedas in their sights once more. However, in current Thedas, they're claiming their own peace and comfort with their reign, showcasing their antagonistic intent. Sounds all pretty spot on in my opinion. However, the looming question remains. Who are these gods from the Elven pantheon? Well, they could literally be anyone, and this is exactly where we get into purely my own subjective wheelhouse of thinking, if we already weren't in that already. Considering one of them is undoubtedly male, let's start with him. I stated this one in my 2023 DADY teaser breakdown, and I'm going to stick with it because I feel like this one is most likely, and that is Elganon, the All-Father and eldest of the Sun, known as the Elven God of Vengeance and also the God of the Sun. He was born from the sun and the earth in Dalish legends, and his stories involve a lot about jealousy, retribution, with Mafal's intervention to reshape the world. The first of the Elven gods, Elganon, symbolized by fire and light, plays a prominent role in the Elven pantheon, leading it alongside his goddess Mafal. His association with justice and fiery wrath make him a sought-out figure for followers seeking aid in endeavours like taming the land and defeating usurpers. Now, the 2020 Game Awards fresco in question depicts each elven god surrounded by a celestial circular symbol, possibly representing the sun and the moon, which would align with the emerging compendium's prophecy of two shadowed spheres among stars, an eclipse as Sven Harel stirred, which then could make these two figures Mafal and Elganon. While I don't outrightly believe that one of these is Mafal, it does certainly work for wanting to believe that this male one could be Elganon. And with such a significant representation behind Elganon and the murder of Mafal by her own kind, which also includes Elganon, there's plenty of plot potential for Elganon in the next game and his antagonistic realistic goals, equally aligning with Mafal seeking her vengeance to the Elven pantheon throughout the ages, as she ushers in the new age and possesses the bodies of her daughters to continue her lifespan. Could certainly see some sort of massive spew between Elganan and Mafal at the end of the game, with those two having an epic confrontation and Solas seemingly being on Mafal's side. Now lastly, a subtle little thing that I did notice, in the Dragon Age 2020 Game Awards trailer, we had a golden Bioware logo that had a sun behind it from the transition of seeing this Elven god figure, which I think is a subtle nod connecting Elganan's origin of being born of the sun. Very subtle, but that honestly for me confirms it enough. And while very much little is known about Elganan, surprisingly compared to the other Elven gods, I think that that could be completely intentional for a full-on blowout of lore with him as one of the next villains of DAD. So I'm going to go with that. But I am also particularly intrigued by the identity of the other figure in question. And I do have two Elven goddesses who come to mind as potential matches for this other figure, with the first being Gillinan. So Gillinan is known as the Mother of the Hala among the Dalish, and she holds the revered title of the Goddess of Guides and Navigation. In Dalish legends, she, a huntress and Andrul's chosen, attained divine status through a transformation initiated by Andrul, becoming the first ever Hala. Gillinan is also credited with the creation of giants, monsters and beasts. Her benevolence is seen in sparing specific creatures as gifts for Andrul, earning her the title of the youngest of the Elven gods. Gillinan's divine intervention allowed a sinner to take flight with wings in a divine form. While Gillinan is associated with the benevolence of a Hala, an Elven riddle suggests a potential darker side to her. The riddle hints at a Hala fleeing from a hunter, symbolizing Andrul and other Elven gods in the pantheon. And further insights from Tevinter Nights reveal Gillinan's mysterious connections with the Executors and the Dalish Morlin clan, to which Strife belongs to. The Executors' oceanic scent and speaking on behalf of powers from across the sea deeply resonate with Gillinan and her known lore, heavily implying potential servitude to her. And then we have the Grey Warden's discovery of a chamber with a ghastly seawater pool creating mutilated beings, very much aligning with Gillinan's mythical creations back in the old Elven times. And so there's a lot of representation with Gillinan and a lot going forward with Tevinter Nights. And if we examine this Fresco figure, potentially they have what seems to be seaweed emanating from their headpiece, the details also aligning with the same headpiece of the evil god in concept art, strengthening the case for this figure being Gillinan, especially with the idea of her creating many creatures, with a particular notion on saving the creatures from the sea. So a lot of reasoning behind Gillinan. But then we do have Andrul, the huntress and also known as the Lady of Fortune, the Elven goddess of the hunt, embodying survival for the Dalish. In Dalish legends, Andrul, a daughter of Elganan and Mafal, is revered as the sister of the moon, mother of hares and lady of the hunt. Andrul's passion for challenging hunts led her to pursue the Forgotten Ones in the Abyss, ultimately driving her to madness, potentially discovering the Blight, to which Mafal intervened, challenged and restrained her, stealing her knowledge of the Void, which again we attribute to the Blight. In Elvenan, Andrul crafted formidable weapons, a golden bow from the Gathering Storm and a golden spear from the Radiance of Stars. Her relentless hunting extended to mortals, earning her the title of the Goddess of Sacrifice. Straight off the bat, with Andrul being the sister of the moon, this could parallel Mafal, as I specified before, with Elganan representing the sun and having those celestial spheres behind each of the figures. Andrul could absolutely take Mafal's place there, representing the moon. It'd also be quite a fun son and daughter movement as they work together to reign over Thedas with their own peace and comfort. Now even more, going back to this evil god, they have a golden spear in striking detail, strongly suggesting that this figure could also be Andrul, unless Andrul has gifted this spear to Gillinan as Andrul's chosen. Either way, I do firmly believe there's ample reason for this evil god to be either. Ultimately, within the vast lore of the elven gods of the pantheon, the identity of these figures remains a subject of speculation. While I'm saying Gillinan, Andrul, Elganan, it could be Felondin, Durthaman, June, Silas, any of the other elven gods. Fundamentally, what we can confirm is that our new hero won't merely be facing Solas the Dreadwolf. It seems that in some regard, the entire elven pantheon is emerging. The concept art provides a glimpse, but the fall of the veil might unveil even more, potentially revealing the rest of the pantheon. Just because I'm saying 2 elven gods confirmed as the next villains doesn't mean there's only going to be 2. I'm just going based on that fresco. It's all really going to depend on what happens when Solas destroys the veil and the consequences of his actions. In what way is this going to reveal some of the elven gods to Thedas, but equally not destroy the world, given that it all hasn't completely gone awry and our new hero still has some part to play in stopping this mayhem before it's too late? And we're all just going to have to wait until we experience it firsthand. Either way, what they are building up to is very exciting, and all these little tidbits and teasers, I feel like I'm finally connecting. So do let me know your bold predictions on the next villains of Dragon Age, and we can see later down the line who was right all along when Dad hopefully drops in like the next year or so. Until the next one though, of course, you are already in the right place for the latest on Dragon Age Dreadwolf. I've been Jackdaw, and I should go. Whoa, 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 whoa.